Part 42. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 411. Several painted-faced teenagers with bright red blood on their faces immediately cheered, "Great, we finally killed this two-headed snake. That's a lot of meat. Each kilogram of meat from an SS-level ferocious beast can be exchanged for 3 points. This one costs at least 1,000 kilograms. Ha ha ha, then each of us can get a lot of points. I didn't expect the first pot of gold to be so easy. Hee hee, those seniors in the past must not be able to earn points as much as we are this time." Several people grinned happily to the back of their ears. Without waiting for Baikin Chun's instructions, they quickly picked up their sabers and flew toward the giant snake, and then began to skin and divide the flesh. The meat was distributed according to the team as agreed before, with Baijian Chun, the captain, accounting for 40%, and the remaining 60% being divided equally between the 7 regular team members and 2 people who were still undergoing testing and observation. The team members did not feel that they were at a loss for this allocation, or that there was anything wrong with Baijian Chun monopolizing 40%. After all, she contributed the most when fighting the two-headed giant snake just now. Without her to restrain them, how could they possibly kill an SS-level snake? As for the ferocious beast, even if Baijian Chun doesn't take action, as long as she, a commander who can intimidate the whole audience, can suppress them, they can take action without hesitation. Hey, there's a supply box hidden here. Suddenly, the 2 young boys who were splitting the snake's tail suddenly had their eyes shining and shouted excitedly. I didn't expect it to be hidden behind a rock. If the big rock in front of it hadn't been shattered by the snake's tail, we probably wouldn't have discovered it. The other team members who looked over after hearing this also leaned over to take a look, and then nodded repeatedly, "Yes, yes, this supply box is too weird to hide. It actually uses environmental mimicry. Normally you wouldn't notice it at a casual glance. Something is wrong. Quick, quick, open it. We have worked hard on this supply box. There must be good things hidden inside." Baijian Chun also got interested and opened the lid himself under the warm greetings of several team members. Oh well, a lot of the things inside were indeed good as they had guessed. Not to mention the seasonings of oil, salt, soy sauce, and vinegar. They had been collecting parts for the speed car for several days and finally found the last 3 important parts in this supply box. With these 3 indispensable parts, they carried them on their backs. The parts of the flying car that have been collected all the way can finally be put to use and assembled into a flying car. As for the last thing, it is the space button. When several heads came over and saw this, they were all crazy with joy. Good guy, with the space button, they no longer have to work so hard to carry large and small bags. Especially those parts for the previous speed car. Even if there were 10 of them, there were too many and too big parts, and it would be tiring to carry them. Now that an SS-level ferocious beast was killed, the 2 important achievements of flying car and space button were completed. Several people flew away with grins on their faces. They quickly picked up the space button in the supply box and handed it over to the commander Baijian Chun. The captain keeps it for safekeeping. Baijian Chun looked at the ring-shaped space button on her wrist, and a smile appeared on her lips. Carrying so many things along the way was not only miserable for the team members, but she was also not happy to carry them, not only because of the weight, but also because of carrying them around. They were all inconvenient and seriously delayed their walking speed and hunting process. Next, the team did not leave, and the Master of Arts boldly sat on the spot and repaired. Several people from the mecha manufacturing department were led by Uou to assemble the flying car. 2 people from the medicine department sat down to prepare the treatment potion. The others waved their sabers and continued to divide the snake meat. After dividing, the few kilograms were sent to Qin Xiao as usual. Fire it up and let's all try it together. An hour later, the flying car was assembled and the test flight went well. Everyone in the team regained their strength after eating the snake soup carefully cooked by Qin Xiao. Bai Jianchun took other materials that everyone collected scattered along the way to the spacenry. As soon as it was finished, a group of people were full of energy and ready to go. "Captain, where are we going? Our examination room has almost been ransacked by us. Other candidates are afraid when they see us. They all run faster than rabbits when they see us. How about we go to the examination room next door to see look?" Sun Xian looked eager to try, and he also wanted to show off. After all, the candidates are all young, energetic, enthusiastic teenagers who love to show off, and several other team members are obviously very attracted to Sun Xian's proposal. Bai Jianchun thought for a second and said, "Okay, let's go to the examination room next door. There is only room for 5 people on the flying car now. If you squeeze in, you can fit 7, but the remaining 3 cannot fit. I plan to use vines to hang you and fly, or you can sit on the roof of the flying car." When the 2 candidates who were still in the observation period knew that their opportunity to perform had come, their heads immediately stood up and they raised their hands and shouted excitedly, We are willing to sit on the roof of the car." Bai Jianchun glanced at him appreciatively and said, "Okay, then you can sit on the roof of the car with me. Also, you performed well just now when you cooperated to fight SS-level beasts. You can officially join our team. Become my team member. According to the rules I made before, you can first talk about your 1 required task and 3 optional tasks. During the hunt, our team will give priority to helping you complete the tasks first and get the tickets to enter the first military academy." The eyes of the 2 newcomers suddenly lit up. This wave of self-recommendations is good. Sun Xingqian does not deceive us. As long as he joins the boss team, he will really help them with their tasks. Fortunately, they did not panic during the observation period and did not rush to complete their own tasks first. Instead, they actively cooperated with the team's actions. After thanking each other profusely, the 2 people quickly told them about their unfinished tasks. While talking, they didn't waste any time and took the initiative to climb on the roof of the speed car. Bai Jianchun also jumped up and stood up on the speeding car. Then she bent down and took out 3 vine seeds. A green light flashed, wrapping her and the other 2 people sitting on the roof of the car and fixing them, acting as seat belts. The other 7 people also hurriedly got into the flying car. Yu, who was sitting in the main driver's seat, shouted happily to the roof of the car, "Captain, are you ready? We are going to start flying." Bai Jianchun responded calmly, "Fly." "Okay." Suddenly, the speeding car rushed towards the sky. The 3 people sitting on the roof of the speeding car were covered in wind. The strong wind slapped their faces, and their faces were deformed. Bai Jianchun's ancient martial arts skills were unleashed, and he sat there calmly, as if he was sitting quietly in the air. His hair was only slightly swaying, and he half squinted his eyes to take in the surrounding scenery, which was not to mention very comfortable. The 2 people, whose faces were ruthlessly blown by the knife-like wind, looked at the leisurely and comfortable Bai Jianchun with 2 pairs of eyes, full of surprise and envy. This is the relationship between people. Is there such a difference in time? How on earth did she manage to be invulnerable to all evil and untouchable by the wind? In response, Bai Jianchun just silently handed them 2 big pots and asked them to hold them in their hands. There was a dense rainforest area in front of them. If you didn't want to be slapped in the face by the cruel leaves, just hold the big pots in your hands. Block it. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 412. Lemon tea, awesome, awesome, ha ha ha, I am the most powerful, goddess Bai. I was the first one to put together a flying car. Flowers bloom to the sun, as expected. Commanding is still popular. There are more people, more power, space buttons, speeding cars, and a lot of points. Now it seems that Bai Jianchun should be the best in the game, the one with the most points. You will win if you love to work hard. Sheng Bei's encounter with Xiao Xianese is not bad, is it? Although he failed to assemble a complete speed car like the second place Bai Jianchun, he also used incomplete parts to improvise and innovate. A small open-top aircraft came out. It's full of scientific research technology. Okay. Flying Knight, Sheng Biu suffers from his temperament and professionalism. He is a mecha manufacturing professional and does not need to form a team. He also doesn't like to talk to people except for Leng Xiao, the cool brother who can cook delicious food. He likes everyone. He doesn't like to talk to anyone, has no partners, and has no little brother, so collecting points is a bit slow. Tianqing and Hao, who said Bai Jianchun has the most points in the game, Shui Weiqian and Shui Wei, the two Shui family geniuses, are not bad either. They have also recruited a lot of people, and their team members are even better than Bai Qianchun's. If you have more points, you will definitely gain a lot of points. Lemon Tea, this is not necessarily true. Although Shui Wei has more than 30 people under his command, which is more than 3 times the number of my goddess team, the number of people is more valuable than the elite. His command level is obviously far worse than that of my goddess Bai. Okay, and let's look at what level of ferocious beasts his 30-man team was hunting. B level and A level were the most common, and S level only encountered one, and it destroyed their entire team. Most of the team members were injured, which is obviously due to insufficient command. How does she look like our white goddess? She just killed an SS level ferocious beast. Not one of the 10 people in the team was seriously injured. The most serious injury was a newbie who was so nervous that she held the saber upside down and cut the palm of her hand. Lemon Tea, also, the distribution rules of our white goddess team have been set at 40% for the captain from the very beginning. It has always been consistent. None of the team members were unhappy, and every one of them happily rushed to join us. The goddesses team came, all the dirty work was taken care of, and they were still having fun together. Look at your two brothers Shui Weiqian as captains. They only get 30%. The other team members are not convinced by them and assign them work. The team members are all hesitant and pushy. No one is willing to do it for fear of doing too much. In this way, the contrast is obvious. Our white goddess is said to be well-mannered, able to command, and capable of surpassing the Shui brothers in terms of mental abilities. Which one has the best boiled water? It would be great if there was a list of points that could be viewed at any time like in the literary test, so that there would be no need to guess and it would be clear at a glance who has the most points. Ian on the street, don't just stare at these people in the front row of the literary test. The candidate named Li Jiadan is not bad either. The structure of his team members is very similar to Bai Jianchun, who ranked second in the literary test. There were only 10 people, and he also got 40% as the captain every time he commanded. He was clean and neat, and he perfectly controlled the field to hunt the beasts. Even if he encountered an S-class beast, I had no doubt that he could lead it. He led his team to hunt and kill SS-level beasts. If he hadn't spent all his time looking for ferocious beasts and was unlucky enough not to meet high-level ferocious beasts, he might have been able to catch up with Bai Jianchun in terms of performance. The only difference between his team and Bai Qianchun's team was that of Quan Lang. Blame the machine. Soul of the foodie, Li Jiadan. I checked his information. The younger brother of Major General Li He, who was popular on the internet in the past few months, is said to have been with Major General Li and received his teachings, so it doesn't matter if he has this level of command. What a fuss after all. Major General Li is known as a textbook genius commander. A single battleship broke the siege of 3 fleets of the Orc Empire, and he made a perfect surprise attack with more troops than fewer troops. I want to rise. Have you noticed that Mu Tao, the candidate who was different from Bai Jianchun in the liberal arts examination room, his command level is not bad at all. In a team of 12 people, 3 of them seem to be like him. They are very familiar with each other, and the team members cooperated very well under his command. Unfortunately, he faced Bai Jianchun again in examination hall no 1, and his style was completely overshadowed by Bai Qianchun's team, otherwise his record would also be it's very dazzling. Foodie Soul, Mu Tao, I also know his information. He He is the son of Major General Lin of the First Army. He was brought to live in the First Army by Major General Lin since he was a child. He trained and studied with him. Uncles in the army all praise him for his first-rate military talent and his commanding genius. Young Master Duopek, has anyone noticed that the two Shen family members, the cousins of the fourth prince's mother's family, don't seem to be outstanding at all, or even stupid? Shen Junhao wanted to form a team, but he was tricked by a candidate named Zhu Bao. After helping him complete the required tasks, he quickly ran away, and it took him a long time to react. What do you want in life? Ha ha ha, I was watching this live broadcast just now. I came here for the cousins of the fourth prince's mother's family, but I saw rubbish. However, Shen Junhao's confused look after being deceived was quite cool. I also took screenshots and made an emoticon package, which was quite popular in the small group. Don't want Ma Bao, hee, the Zhu Bao you are talking about just cheated Shen Junyi's 2 points, and she foolishly regarded Zhu Bao as a helpful little brother. Why do I feel that these two Shen brothers and sisters are a bit stupid? I want to rise. You might as well say they are stupid. I really think they are quite stupid and they are being deceived, but maybe it's not because they are stupid, but because Zhu Bao is too smart. What do you want in life? Zhu Bao is indeed a wonderful guy. When he meets someone who is nice to talk to and wants to recruit him into the team, he will be full of sweet words and flattery. Who wouldn't like to hear these rainbow farts? The ones before. The captain who wanted to recruit him into the team was so stunned by him that he favored him well. The result was good. This guy had no heart. After taking the advantage, he turned around and stabbed the captain, saying that he had poor command skills and could not keep this giant Buddha. Then he slapped his butt and left, while the angry captain chased him for thousands of miles. However, Zhu Bao's running skills were excellent and he failed to catch up. When he encounters a strong person who wants to shoot him for points, he can also be shameless and beg for mercy. Even if he is embarrassed, he will steal his points. I admire his eloquence and his rogue skills in selling misery. I think this kid may be able to do it in the future. He is also a powerful person, at least better than the stupid brother and sister of the Shen family who were deceived. There was a lot of discussion on the live broadcast screen. It did not stagnate because most of the time for the martial arts exam had passed. On the contrary, it became more and more enthusiastic. There were more onlookers, and there were people who supported every candidate. Sometimes some of the comments were like a pot of stew, with relish. He was analyzing each outstanding candidate, and the others also enjoyed watching it. They would also chime in from time to time, and the atmosphere was fun. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 413. Zhu Bao, who had deceived two idiots from the economics department and got 50 points, was humming a tune in a mature woodland fruit forest, wandering around collecting like a treasure-hunting mouse, his cheeks bulging with food. The main star is really good. It's rich in supplies. You can eat such delicious fruits without spending star coins. Brother Liang Chen really didn't lie to me, but who is the person that Brother Liang Chen wants me to help find? It's also mysterious. He sighed and rubbed his full belly, his round black eyes full of satisfaction. Then he straightened his clothes to make the purple sycamore leaves embroidered on his chest more visible, and then continued to climb the tree to pick them. Muneguo put it in the backpack. He wouldn't know how to start a fire and cook by himself. He was lucky enough to come across a supply box, which contained all pots, pans, and seasonings. He cut off a piece of B-level ferocious beast and tried to make it himself. Not to mention the taste, it was simply worse than the low-quality nutrient solution he had pulled out of the trash when he was on Chaos Star. So he completely gave up on the idea of cooking and having enough food and clothing by himself. After taking a few bites of food from a few idiot teams, he could only come to pick ready-made fruits to eat. This wood milk fruit forest was the best harvest he encountered today. The wood milk fruit was sour and sweet, and tasted particularly good. After he was full, he planned to pick more and put them in his backpack. If the military school hadn't stipulated that everything belonged to the military school and could not be taken out of the examination room, he would have picked all the wood milk fruits in the entire wood milk fruit forest and packed them away. Zubao was riding on a branch, holding the trunk between his legs, humming and picking fruits. Suddenly he raised his head alertly and looked to the side, only to see an arrogant red speedster heading towards him. Howling and flying. His round eyes suddenly shone brightly, and he muttered, "Someone has assembled the speed car now. It must be a powerful team. Zubao likes to join the best and most powerful team. Only the strongest commander can make him Zubao obey orders, just like brother Liang Chen. Michelle, ha ha ha, here it comes, Zubao is about to start his performance again. Baby of the Yang Yang family, ha 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 ha, I just like it when he joins the team with a sweet talk, and then gets rid of the scum of the team with the shameless reason of you are not strong enough to retain an excellent team member like me. Lemon tea, humph, it's me, Goddess Bai, who's here Goddess Bai, won't let that sweet-mouthed scumbag Zubao defraud me of points and feelings. Michelle, ha 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 ha, it's wonderful, let's see whether Goddess Bai controls the overall situation and convinces Zubao, or whether Zubao is superior and cheats the points and escapes. Little baby of Yan Jiang's family, hey, rub your hands together, I'm also looking forward to it. Latin, expectation add 1. Captain, there is a woodland fruit forest ahead. I heard from former candidates that the wood nut milk fruit in the examination room is sweet and delicious. Do we want to pick some? Yu shouted excitedly while sitting in the flying car. Baikin Chun's calm voice came from the roof of the car, well, let's go down and have a look. She discovered this wood milk fruit forest earlier than Yu in the flying car, and also saw an examinee riding on a tree branch with his butt sticking out to pick fruits. Under Zubao's excited greeting with waving arms, the speeding car slowly slowed down and finally stopped under Zubao's tree. Zubao slid down from the tree, and then trotted toward the speeding car happily. He praised the two people on the roof of the speeding car with bright eyes and said sincerely, "Wow, that's cool." The two people sitting on the roof of the car holding the big pot were numb and their feet were weak. They gave him a pale smile and cursed in their hearts that MMMP is so cool. They were scared to death. Bai Qian-chun jumped down from the roof of the flying car. Her cold eyes looked at the man who was approaching her with a smile on his face. Her eyes swept over his clothes. Suddenly, her eyes paused slightly. There were many flowers on the purple sycamore leaves. He stayed there for a second, and then looked away silently. Zhu Baiana is such a keen person. He caught it the moment Baikin Chun's eyes stopped. Could it be that she was the person that brother Liang Chen asked him to help find? Then he subconsciously straightened his chest, making the purple sycamore leaves on his chest shine even more. Bai Qian-chun moved her gaze to Zhu Bao's face. The seemingly calm expression and eyes were actually not calm in her heart. The purple sycamore leaf was the symbol of the Ziwutong team in her previous life. Since she had no money to cast a team emblem, the eldest sister, who had some skills in sewing and mending, personally embroidered a piece of purple sycamore on the clothes of each Ziwutong team member. Leaves as logo. The purple sycamore leaves on the chest of this candidate are too similar. Although the stitching does not look like the eldest sister's personal show, it is a bit neater, but the shape, size, and the connection at the bottom of the stem under the sycamore leaf are exactly the same. She had speculated that she and Yang Langxiao might not be the only ones who came to the star after hearing about Tan Langxing's Yuiwen Gongzi before, but there might also be other members of the Ziwutong team. Unfortunately, this year she inquiring into the news has turned up nothing. Even Master Yuiwen has disappeared and there is no trace, so the investigation is gradually relaxed. I didn't expect to encounter such a clue during the martial arts exam. By chance, no, It can never be such a coincidence. However, now in the live broadcast in front of the public, Bai Jianchun had no intention of questioning the candidate opposite, but only planned to observe him secretly first. Judging from his appearance, he doesn't look like any member of the Ziwutong team, but in another world, his appearance may change. Seeing that Bai Jianchun was still reluctant to speak, Zhu Bao was not embarrassed. If the mountain is not mine, I will do it. He smiled with his eyes bent and said cheerfully and enthusiastically, "Hello, hello. My name is Zhu Bao. Seeing that your team looks very strong, can I join your team? I know how to work and fight with little food. I can fight an A-level ferocious beast on my own without any problem, and I can also keep watch at night." He made a fuss, and began to use his tongue to promote himself skillfully. He praised himself freely without any sense of shame. The 5 people Sun Xian who got off the speed car and those who got off the top of the speed car felt weak. The 2 people who were helped down were stunned for a while. Good guy, this guy is really thick-skinned, much better than their previous self-promotion of wanting to join the team. At least they can't be so shameless and boast about themselves without blushing. Yu, on the other hand, had a look of emotion on his face. When he saw them in the original examination room number 1, which candidate didn't run away immediately? Those who joined the team were all convinced and eagerly wanted to join the team, and then they were admitted. Yes, this Zhu Bao is the first candidate who started recommending himself as soon as they met without having to fight. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 414. Bai Jianchun looked at Zhu Bao's smiling face with deep eyes, and said softly, "You can join our team if you want, but you must follow the rules of our team. Next, you will follow us first. After a period of observation, if you feel that you have passed the observation period, you can officially join my team. However, during the observation period, you can also allocate points like a full member. If you dissatisfy me during the observation period, I can stop and expel you from the team at any time. Or if you do something to harm my team during the observation period, you will immediately become our team's competitor. When the time comes, it depends on your ability whether you can escape safely or be stripped of your points by our team. So, do you still want to join my team?" The more Zhu Bao listened, the brighter his eyes became. He straightened his head and said, "Join in. It's good to have high requirements and strict requirements. This will further prove the strength of a team. It's not good for the previous teams that tried to recruit him into the team. Only if they are not good will they relax the conditions or recruit players unconditionally to stay together." Therefore, when Zhu Bao heard Bai Jianchun's regulations, he was not dissatisfied, but actually very happy. Bai Jianchun nodded calmly, "Then you can follow us as a reserve member of the team." Zhu Bao raised his head and chest and said happily, "Okay." The team members who were still a little wary of him suddenly had smiles on their faces and became enthusiastic. Sun Xian hooked Zhu Bao's neck and said with a hearty smile, "You have good taste. Our team is definitely the strongest team in the examination room with Boss Bai leading it." Zhu Bao's eyes lit up and his chest puffed up. "I also want to be the strongest team member. Brother Liang Chen said that if he is not strong enough, then he should join the strongest team. Only then can he survive and take some time off." He regards Brother Liang Chen's words as a guideline and agrees very much, so he turns over a few during the martial arts exam. The team is looking for the strongest team. Sun Xian and several other team members smiled and patted him on the shoulder. "Good boy, you have ambition. By the way, which examination room number are you here? Are there any people you need to pay attention to? Or are there any dangerous places, such as SS-level ferocious beasts? We just killed an SS-level ferocious beast, and now we have recovered our strength. It's no problem if I can do it again." Zhu Bao's ears perked up and he listened carefully, especially after hearing that he had killed an SS-level beast. his eyes suddenly lit up like light bulbs, he patted his chest and said proudly, I know, this is number 8. Just ask me if there are any characters or SS level beasts in the examination room. I've been walking around most of this examination room in the past few days, and I've met 2/3 of the candidates, not to mention all of them. The ones that need attention should be a candidate named Yang. He looks very bright with a smile showing 2 small fangs, but according to my intuition, he is very good at fighting, and he is a dangerous person who is not easy to mess with. As for the other candidates, none of them can fight, anyway. Not as good as me. Sun Xian and other team members looked ashamed, but this guy was quite confident. Only Quan Lang looked at him with strange eyes. Isn't this kid the same little scoundrel who had cheated on Zhou Lang before and took 3 small healing pills from Zhou Lang as compensation? Ah, he is indeed an extraordinary person. Zhu Bao glanced sharply at his strange look, but without detecting any malice, he looked away and continued, I also encountered 3 SS level ferocious beasts, but I couldn't defeat them and ran away. What do you think? If I'm looking for them, I know the approximate location and can find them quickly if they haven't left. Bai Qianchun observed the expression on his face calmly. He didn't show anything unusual when he mentioned Yang. Yang's appearance was 80% similar to that in the ancient martial arts world, plus the aura after practicing ancient martial arts. His walking steps are unique and different from ordinary people. Anyone who is a member of Zai Wutong can easily recognize him, but this Zhu Bao does not seem to have it. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that he is acting. She did not rush to a conclusion and decided to observe further. Then she said, then let's lead the way to the SS level beast. It's still early today, so there's no harm in hunting another one. The team members immediately grinned, great, we have a lot of points to earn again. Seeing that they were not afraid at all, but were eager to try, as if they had already hunted an SS level beast, Zhu Bao knew that they had not lied before. Their team had indeed hunted an SS level beast before, and he immediately followed. Grinning, he. The teams he joined before were very cowardly. They would run away as soon as they encountered SS level beasts. Zhu Bao, who wanted to taste the meat of SS level beasts, was very angry, but he couldn't do it in a one-on-one challenge. I can run along like my ass is on fire. So he felt more and more that what Brother Liang Chen said was good advice. It was important to find a strong teammate in the strongest team. Without further ado, the team members climbed up the tree and picked a few handfuls of wood milk berries before hurriedly looking for the SS level ferocious beasts. Since Zhu Bao wanted to lead the way, the co-pilot of the flying car left a seat for him, and Quan Lang and 2 other team members who were previously sitting in the flying car came up and sat on the roof of the flying car. The 4 people on the roof of the speeding car were tied with 4 green safety belts, holding 3 dark cauldrons on their heads, and continued to set off at lightning speed. Yes, drive to the left. There is an SS level giant rhinoceros over there. Its hooves are particularly powerful, and its skin is very thick. Its defense is far superior to other ferocious beasts. I could only run away when I encountered it before, but the team is so strong, it will be no problem to kill it. I heard that the meat of this giant rhinoceros is very delicious, ranking second on the interstellar high quality and delicious meat rankings. There was a sudden sniffing sound inside the flying car. The focus of Zhu Bao's words is mainly on the last sentence. He didn't eat anything good on Chaos Star. He only improved after knowing that Brother Liang Chen came, but it only took 10 days and a half to eat meat and food. Vegetables and the rest are all supported by nutrient solution, so he has an unusual obsession with eating delicious meat. It just so happened that Sun Xian and others, who had tasted a lot of ferocious beast meat, were also very interested in eating it, especially the delicious snake soup they had just eaten before. They really couldn't wait to taste another SS level ferocious beast meat. So after hearing Zhu Bao's last sentence, everyone became excited, and even silently speeded up, for fear that they would be robbed by other candidates before they could rush over. However, they hurried and hurried slowly. The faces of the three people on the roof of the car except Bai Qianchun were blown away, but they still failed to catch up. When they arrived nearby, a small team was already having sex with the giant rhinoceros. When in doubt, he asked the captain, "Captain, what should we do?" Bai Qianchun sat on the roof of the car, squinting and looking in the direction where the fighting was fierce. "Go down and take a look first. We are in a competitive relationship, and we don't care about first come, first served. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs." Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 415. At the center of the battle, it was different from how Bai Qianchun and others imagined candidates besieging giant rhinos. Instead, there were two SS-level giant rhinoceroses snorting and attacking people from both sides, then pawing at their hooves. The two bulls were side by side, their eyes glowing red. The eldest one was chasing a group of human two-legs all over the place. The candidates who had been chased to death and unable to fly were not angry but happy when they saw Bai Qianchun and others falling not far away. They waved to them one by one in surprise and shouted heartbreakingly at the top of their lungs, "Help, save us." The candidate who looked like a captain running at the front also shouted in surprise, "Friends, in front of me, there are two SS-level giant rhinos here, let's deal with one each." Bai Qianchun frowned and looked at the two huge giant rhinos. He didn't expect that there were two hidden here. Could it be a male and a female? I've only met one before. Zubao, who led a group of people here, was even more dumbfounded than Bai Qianchun and others. He really gave good guidance this time. "You are serious about your work, you didn't intend to deliberately harm your team members, why did you encounter such an accident?" He glanced cautiously in Bai Qianchun's direction, aggrieved, for fear that she would suspect that he did it on purpose. Bai Qianchun didn't pay attention to his eyes, but frowned slightly. She stood at the front of the crowd and looked at the group of people running closer and closer. She narrowed her black eyes and gave instructions in a cold voice, "Cooperate with them. Let's deal with the left side, that giant rhinoceros, I will lead it aside first, and you will follow and act accordingly." The team members who were initially shocked by the two SS-level giant rhinoceros were still a little uneasy and were wondering if they should turn around and run away. They suddenly seemed to have found their backbone and felt certain in their hearts. Then they became excited one by one, and then followed Bai with eager eyes. Qianchun looked over. Zubao was shocked by their spirited and enthusiastic momentum, and swallowed his saliva. "I really want to do it, these are two SS-level rhinos, and the other ones who were crushed," cried Daddy and Mommy. "I know the team led by Shen Junhao. He has no abilities and likes to brag and talk big words. His ability to escape is also top-notch. The few team members he has recruited also have the same virtues as him. If the fight is halfway through, they will. What if you find you can't do anything anymore, give up your job, and run away, leaving us with the two SS giant rhinos?" No matter how he thought about it, Zubao felt that his guess was very likely to happen. Sun Xian patted him on the shoulder and comforted him, "Don't worry. Anyway, we just have to follow the captain's instructions. If the captain says it can be done, we will follow it. Moreover, the captain has no plan for the situation you mentioned, and he must have expected it arrived and ready." You also nodded with a silly look on his face, "That's right, we just need to obey the captain's command in everything. Even if we can't defeat two SS-level ferocious beasts at once, we can still run away. This giant rhinoceros has strong defense but not very fast speed. Damn it, it's only a matter of minutes if we want to escape, and besides, we have a flying car." Zubao, "Ah, that makes sense." Zubao was soon persuaded by everyone in the team. He finally understood. This team was different from the other teams he had been with before. This team had extraordinary cohesion, and everyone believed in their captain wholeheartedly. A team with such strong cohesion was terrifying. Yes, as long as the captain makes the right decision, he can definitely bring out the powerful combat effectiveness of the entire team. 1 plus 1 is far greater than 2. This is a real team. Zhu Bao clenched his fists when he was affected. Even if he couldn't fully trust him yet, he would actively cooperate. After all, he was still in the team's observation period. While several people were talking, Bai Qianshun, who was standing in front of everyone, suddenly moved. Her whole figure floated over like a breeze, followed by her and stopped in mid-air. Green light exploded in her hands, and countless green thorns appeared. The vines rise from the ground, majestic and majestic. The vines entangled and bound the giant rhinoceros on the left, hindering its footsteps. The giant rhinoceros snorted and let out a dull roar. The iron hooves stepped on the thorn vines that restrained it, causing juices from the vines to splash. It is worthy of being an SS-level ferocious beast with the ceiling of defense. The sharp and cold thorn vines that can pierce the SS-level two-headed giant snake have almost no effect on it, leaving no trace on its skin. The team members were stunned for a while. These S-class giant rhinos were indeed extraordinary, and their defense power was not limited. They were secretly thinking that the captain's tried and tested trick was useless, so they could continue. When they had a fight, their captain proved that she could do it, and that she could do it especially well. When the move failed, Bai Qianshun was not discouraged. Following the vines rising from the ground, they quickly weaved themselves in mid-air. The green fluorescent light flashed to form a green palm. He stretched his wrist and snapped the giant rhinoceros on the left. Fan flew out more than 10 meters and completely distanced himself from the giant rhinoceros on the right. The threat of the two bulls standing side by side was instantly resolved. Bai Qianshun chased the giant rhinoceros, and a cold voice floated over, "Do it and attack its eyes." Yes. The team members, who had already tensed up and were ready, ejected instantly and launched a fierce attack into the eyes of the giant rhinoceros without any hesitation. Although Zhu Bao was stunned for a moment, he still kept up with the pace of the team by relying on his flexible footsteps and excellent motor cells. He stayed among the team members and did not dare to be lazy. He also used all his strength to attack with supernatural powers. Giant rhinoceros eyes. Moo. The fierce and angry cry of the cow came. The giant rhinoceros could not withstand this powerful attack output. After a while, its two eyes were blinded and tears of blood flowed out. The whole cow also fell into darkness and began to bump wildly. Bang bang bang, the surrounding trees broke violently after the collision, and fell down row after row. When Shen Junhao saw that the crazy giant rhinoceros was about to charge towards them, he was immediately frightened out of his wits. The two rhinoceroses fought, forgetting their promise to deal with one each, and quickly shouted in panic, "Run, run!" With a crash, a group of team members who were greedy for life and fearful of death also retreated and disappeared with Shen Junhao. The other giant rhinoceros, Moo Moo Moo, who was unchecked, turned around and charged towards Bai Qianshun and the others with its hooves angrily. The two sharp black horns on its head would definitely hurt people if they collided with them. Poke one through the other. When Zhu Bao saw this, his face darkened. He knew this would happen. Shen Junhao is just a person who talks nonsense. He turned to look at Bai Qianshun, anxious to see what her next plan was, but he saw that her cold and beautiful face was not panic at all. She tapped her toes, and a cold voice came, "You guys first turn your eyes on the other side, the giant rhinoceros is attacking, it can't see you, just avoid it and leave the other giant rhinoceros to me." As she said that, she ran over and stood in front of Zhu Bao and others, and kicked the giant rhinoceros fiercely towards them. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lan Shan Lu Zy. Chapter 416. What is surprising is that when Baikin Chun's little foot kicked the giant bull that weighed several thousand kilograms into the head, it actually flew out. Although it only flew more than 1 meter away, it really flew away. It flew away and all 4 hooves of the cow were off the ground. After landing, its front hooves were in a panic, and the cow almost fell over. Taking advantage of the fact that it was sick and killing it, Bai Chun gave another run up and pursued it lightly. He whipped the cow's head with a whip. While whipping it back, he tilted his head to look at the tree on one side and chuckled. He said, "When you've seen enough, come out and help." Ha 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 ha! I saw a young man jumping out of a leafy banyan tree with a smile. He jumped down from the tall tree, his figure swept across the tree vigorously, and he flashed towards Bai Chun very quickly. Next to him, he smiled at Bai Chun with a white and tender face, revealing 2 small tiger teeth. "Hey, I hit it so well, Sister Chun, when did you find me?" Bai Chun glanced at him and said, "I noticed it from the beginning. Come and help quickly." Yang bared his teeth and smiled with a bright smile, "Okay." Then the 2 members of Zai Wutong began to fight against each other in a tacit understanding that was difficult for others to interfere with. The movement skills of the 2 seemed to be exactly the same, they jumped lightly, every move seemed like they could fly, and their mid-air attacks were stress-free. Advancing and retreating, making noises in the east and attacking in the west, and other tactics are almost understood by the other party just by exchanging a look, and their fighting style does not seem to be like a person with superpowers using superpowers. One picks flowers and leaves, flies like needles, and the palm of the other seems soft. In fact, there is a hidden rhythm. You can tell that those palms are working when you look at the giant rhino looking dizzy and shaking the whole cow when you slap it with one palm after another. With the perfect cooperation between the 2, more than 20 minutes later, the SS-level rhinoceros they besieged finally let out a dull roar and fell down. Whether it was the team members who were still dealing with the blind mad cow next door or the audience before the live broadcast, they all looked at it with their mouths wide open. "Is this solved?" Yang walked over with a smile and kicked the huge bull's head that fell on the ground. Then he turned around and smiled, showing 2 rows of teeth. "Don't worry, he's dead for sure." Bai Chun picked up another handful of pine needles from the nearby pine needle tree, and the corners of her mouth turned up slightly on her sweaty face, and then she reminded aloud, "There is one more, so we can eat beef stew at night." Yang's eyes suddenly lit up, "Can you stew beef brisket with potatoes? I found a potato field nearby before. Will potatoes grow here? Maybe someone sowed the seeds. Anyway, I dug up a bunch. Although it's only as big as a fist and far inferior to the huge boulder-sized potatoes from our Muyuan planet, it tastes good," Yang replied casually, and then his eyes looking at Bai Chun, he continued to remind, "Potato stewed beef brisket." Bai Chun glanced at him and said, "With this little talent, there is a member of my team who is good at cooking. Although he is not as good as Leng Xiao, his cooking is also very delicious. Let him cook this later." Yang's eyes sparkled, "That's fine, that's fine. I'm tired of all the barbecue I've been eating these days, as long as I can cook better than ordinary people." Under Zhu Bao's surprised eyes, the 2 of them walked over with great familiarity as they chatted and laughed, and then spent more than 20 minutes easily killing the SS-level blind mad cow in front of everyone's eyes. The moment the cow fell, the team members' eyes immediately burst into excitement, blowing both of them away. Zhu Bao also came over curiously and asked, "Captain, does he know Yang?" He had said before that Yang was the most dangerous person in examination hall number 8. He didn't expect to know the captain, and judging from their tacit cooperation in fighting monsters, it was obvious that they not only knew each other but were also familiar with each other, and had even fought side by side for many years. For a long time. The corners of Baikin Chun's mouth were slightly raised, and there was a smile in her eyes. "Well, we are both from Wuyuan Star, so of course we know each other. Ya Yang also cooperated and smiled brightly. Yes, 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 we not only know each other, but we are also very familiar with each other. Bai Qianchun had a chuckle on her lips and acquiesced. She had no intention of pretending not to be familiar with Ya Yang and Leng Xiao. They were both from the same planet, and the identity she created for herself was that she was a relative of a certain pharmacy master in the Muyuan Star Experimental Park, and she learned the wrong medicine pills from them. His skills and talents are outstanding, even better than others, and he is highly praised by Muyuan Star Lord. In this way, it is normal for her to be familiar with Star Master's follower Ya Yang Leng Xiao. As for others who want to check, they can't. Muyuan planet is currently implementing a high-pressure and controlled blockade system. Now everyone on Muyuan planet has been screened by her. Other outside forces know that Muyuan planet is Source Star Master has a set of methods to find out undercover agents, so in the past 2 months, they have hardly put any thought into sending undercover agents. It is extremely difficult for them to reach out. Even if they want to investigate something, they can only. It was what she wanted those people to know. So she wasn't worried at all that her fabricated identity would be exposed. On the contrary, the more they investigated, the more they were able to confirm the authenticity of her identity. Bai Qianchun later proposed that Ya Yang be included in the team and become an official member of the team. As expected, the other team members welcomed him very much. With regard to Ya Yang's performance just now, with his super strong fighting power, he joined the team not as a hindrance to seek shelter, but as a powerful addition to a tiger. Although Zhu Bao, who has not yet become an official teammate, has a little bit of envy and jealousy, he has no objections. Ya Yang is indeed better than him, and he is friends with the captain. Almost everyone in this team is the captain's fanboy. In the team under the command and control of the captain, they would accept it even if the captain Bai Qianchun added a waist, and they would even speculate in their hearts that this waist had something they didn't know about to be favored by their captain. All in all, as long as Bai Qianchun is the captain, he has formed absolute authority in the hearts of the team members, and no one will refute it. Zhu Bao once again lamented that this captain is really strong, not only in strength, but also in charisma, much like his brother Liang Chen. Although his brother Liang Chen suddenly emerged, he conquered the Chaos Star with his own means, ability, strength, and charisma. Of countless people and became a leader they wholeheartedly supported. After a group of people chatted happily for a while, they quickly began to clean up the battlefield skillfully. Even though the giant rhinoceros was dead, its skin's defense was still at its ceiling. It was quite difficult to cut some meat to satisfy its hunger. At this time, Zhu Bao contributed his own energy dagger made from material parts to solve the problem of difficulty in cutting meat, which won the unanimous favor of everyone in the team. Quick, quick, right here, there are 2 SS-level giant rhinos right here. They seem to have lost their voice. That team may have escaped too. There was a rustle in the woods in the distance, and Shen Junhao's loud voice could be heard. The members of Bai Qianchun's team stopped what they were doing, the smiles on their faces turned serious, and they looked warily in the direction of the sound. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 417. Xiang's father, oh, here comes the good-looking one, here comes the good-looking one. Shen Junhao is so shameless he even brought Shui Wei's team here. Do you want to come here to pick up the missing ones? Spicy and sour, ha 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 ha, the two sides meet like this, are they going to have sex, fight, fight? The audience was very excited about this scene. Since this year's military academy exams started allowing the meat and herbs of ferocious beasts to be exchanged for points, most of the candidates have gone hunting for ferocious beasts. There has been less battle of wits and courage between candidates than in previous years. There were a lot of mistakes, which was very annoying for the audience who liked to watch candidates fighting each other to get their number plates. So they were so excited when they saw the Shuro field they were about to encounter. Ye Yang is my home. Baiken Chun's team and Shui Wei's team both came to the number 8 examination room. Across the examination room they are both very powerful, however, Baiken Chun's team is the strongest, and Shui Wei's team's position is originally it was close to the dividing line between examination rooms 9 and 8, so it was not difficult for their team to cross the examination room. Minjiao on the sea, danger is in danger. Shui Wei and Shen Junhao are both shameless and mean people. If they go over there, they will definitely snatch the giant rhinoceros. Kikaizi, Baiken Chun's team fought 2 SS level giant rhinos, which consumed a lot of physical strength and abilities. In addition, their team is small, and adding the newcomers Zhu Bao and Ye Yang only has 12 people. The two teams opposite Shui Wei and Shen Junhao had more than 50 people together. No matter how elite the team members were, it was difficult for them to beat 4 hands with 2 fists, and they were still weak. See Minjiao, what to do, run or not run. If they run away, the fight against the 2 giant rhinos will be in vain, but if they don't run, they must not be caught by the 2 teams of Shen Junhao and Shui Wei. Look at me, Scud, let's run quickly. Even if we don't have firewood in the green hills we left behind, it's not too late to find these 2 teams to get the points back after we've rested and regained our strength. Hurry, run, run. The audience outside the live broadcast clenched their fists and watched the live broadcast nervously. They all shouted words such as run, run, run. This sincerity, frowning and holding their breath, was much better than waiting with Shen Junhao soon. Everyone in Baiken Chun's team would be nervous when they met. Pulling away the dense grass, Shen Junhao, Shui Wei and his party were finally exposed in front of Baijian Chun and others. The situation on Baiken Chun's team was also clearly visible to Shui Wei and his party. Shen Junhao's originally smiling face froze, his eyes widened, and he glanced several times at the 2 giant rhinos that were lying on the ground and letting others do whatever they wanted. His expression could not hide his shock. How is it possible, 2 SS level giant rhinos, all dead? Shui Wei, who was following him, pushed the person in front of him away and paused for a moment before looking forward. Then he frowned impatiently. What's going on? Didn't you say that the 2 SS level giant rhinos were very powerful? Is it great? That's it? Shen Junhao twitched the corners of his mouth, his eyes a little dazed. I don't know why they died so quickly. In his mind, either the team just now was still fighting the 2 giant rhinos, and they came just in time to grab the monsters, or the team had already run away. But he never expected this situation. There are only a few people in that team. Shui Wei's eyes were dark, with a sinister smile on his face. He stared at Bai Jianchun and the others as if they were staring at a group of fat sheep. He licked his lips and said in an excited tone, since the SS level ferocious beast is dead, so let's rob people, brothers, do it. More than 30 team members behind him immediately responded excitedly, and even the people in Shen Junhao's team were incited to get excited, and then they all excitedly pounced on Bai Jianchun and the others like tigers. Bai Jianchun clicked her tongue lightly, her eyes glowing with a cold light. Don't let the points sent to you go to waste. Then she turned back to the other teammates and said, you continue to work, let me handle this. Then he turned back to look at Ye Yang. Let's go. Ye Yang geared up and showed 2 small tiger teeth excitedly. Okay. 10 minutes later, wailing could be heard everywhere. Shui Wei, who had been arrogant and domineering for only a few minutes, was dragged by one of his legs and thrown into a pile of human flesh piled up like a arhut. The expression on his feminine face with a big footprint was suffocated and gloomy. Shen Junhao, who was pressed down, had a bitter look on his face, and his expression was painful and ferocious. No, it's none of his business. He didn't say he wanted to take action. It was Shui Wei who said he would take action. The members of his team made their own decisions. Why did they also beat him and treat him like a pile of human flesh at the bottom? My intestines were almost vomited from the pressure. Qin Xiao, who was instructing his companions to peel the newly dug potatoes, glanced over there, his expression numb. He had been lying down so many times that he was used to it. He rolled up his sleeves and planned to help but couldn't help. He watched two wolves enter the sheep herd and beat a group of strong sheep to pieces. Zhu Bao's eyes were wide open as he rolled on the ground, and his chest was filled with tears. The excitement lasted for a long time. Yes, yes, the team was added correctly this time. Not only is the captain's commanding ability first class, but his combat ability is also at the top of the pyramid. Look at the more than 50 little sheep, one of them is calling obedient under her hands, as if they are standing and being kicked by her. Yes, none of them have the ability to fight back at all, they are so awesome. Bai Qianchun clapped her hands with a very calm expression on her cold face, and said to her team members, who will have a friendly discussion with them and hand over all the points. Zhu Bao stood on tiptoes and raised his hands excitedly, saying actively, me, I'll do it. I'm the best at friendly discussions. I promise to even take out their underwear. The experienced Uou and Sun Xian glanced at him and silently took back their steps to come out. Okay, let's leave it to the newcomers to show off. Although they are also good at grabbing people's underwear, they are not good at being friendly. Discuss. Bai Qianchun glanced at Zhu Bao and said, okay, I'll leave it to you. Shen Junhao looked at Zhu Bao walking towards him. He suddenly felt dizzy and didn't want to vomit. His expression turned frightened and ugly. He gritted his teeth resentfully and said, Zhu Bao, it's you dash. Zhu Bao smiled and said, long time no see, Mr. Shen. The few points you gave me before are so delicious. How about handing over the rest? Anyway, those points are not related to your account, so you won't be able to save much. Shen Junhao's pale face turned red with anger. He glared at Zhu Bao fiercely, then looked in the direction of Bai Qianchun and shouted urgently, Zhu Bao is a traitor and a habitual criminal. He might stab you in the back when you are fighting. Do you dare to accept such a person? I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 418. Bai Qianchun picked a stone and sat down, looking at Shen Junhao indifferently. He hasn't betrayed yet. Shen Junhao was choked and his face turned purple with anger. Zhu Bao's laughed, his confidence immediately rising, and then he showed a row of white teeth and directed a burst of passion at Shen Junhao, don't waste your efforts, our captain is different from a small-minded chicken like you. Besides, when I joined the team, I said that I wanted to be a member of the strongest team. Your team is all weak and cowardly, but their attitude is very arrogant. You can tell at a glance that it will be over sooner or later. If I don't run away, I'm still here to be punished with you guys. Besides, I haven't officially joined your team. I applied to the military academy to become a bound member of your team. I'm still a free agent. I can leave whenever I want. Where? It's bothering you. Then he walked over and knelt down, and slapped Shen Junhao's bruised and purple face with a smile. Okay, let's stop talking about old friendships. Let's continue to have friendly discussions to get all your team's points. It's a question of taking it out. Shen Junhao was so angry that he vomited blood and stared. He had never seen such a shameless person. Shui Wei and the others also gritted their teeth and decided not to give in. Another half hour passed. A rich aroma emerged from the pot of beef brisket stewed with potatoes. Zhu Bao then wiped the sweat from his forehead, happily let go of Shui Wei's collar, the hardest bone to chew, and happily said to him Bai Qianchun reported the situation. Bai Qianchun and Ye Yang accepted the large sum of points that Zhu Bao collected from the two teams and divided them equally, and then divided Zhu Bao about 100 points as hard work expenses. Zhu Baoxi bared his teeth. This is simply his dream team and the best captain. He is not selfish at all, fair and generous. The other team members who were not allocated points did not have much opinion. They did not contribute at all to deal with Shui Wei and the others, so it was normal that they were not allocated points. Secretly praying in their hearts that they would not share the spoils equally, Shen Junhao and Shui Wei, who were working internally, saw this situation and were so angry that they almost vomited blood. What on earth is going on with this team? Isn't there anyone who is mentally unbalanced and has conflicts? Unfortunately, they were left alone after waiting for most of the day, until the team happily started to set up tents and ate beef brisket stewed with potatoes and rice. Shen Junhao sniffed the rich aroma of meat that drifted over, his stomach grumbled with hunger, and saliva came out of the corner of his mouth. His original feeling of resentment gradually turned into envy and yearning. This beef brisket stewed with potatoes is so fragrant. It is indeed SS-level beast meat. He had only eaten it once or twice at banquets when he was at the Shen family, but it was not as fragrant as tonight. Xiong's dad, wow, that's awesome, this level of force is incredible. I just killed 2 SS-level ferocious beasts and I can punch a big friend and send them all away. I really can't bear to accept it. See Minjiao, are all the people on Weiyuan planet so fierce? Am I the only one who noticed that they didn't use their powers when they punched a big friend just now? Look at my scud, I've seen it too, they don't use any superpowers, their movements are strange, and they can fight easily and neatly. I also noticed that they can disperse the opposite superpowers through the air. What kind of weird ability is this? He looks so strong. I want to rise. Not all candidates from Weiyuan planet have this ability. Su Kan, who is 4th in the literary test next door, does not have it. The candidate named Jian Yang also has a little bit, but not Bai Jianchun and Bai Jianchun at all. Ya Yang is skilled. Foodie Soul, hey, that candidate named Jian Yang, why did he go into the central area of the rainforest with others? It is a gathering place for ferocious beasts. It is very dangerous. Just now, a small team was swollen and wanted to attack them. As for the SS-level ferocious beasts, they were scared to death by the dense group of ferocious beasts. The team of dozens of people collapsed, and a few of them pressed the rescue button and asked the teacher to rescue them. I want to rise. The candidates from Weiyuan Star are indeed talented and bold. Hey, add a follower and see how this candidate named Jian Yang can punch a vicious beast. There was a lot of discussion on the live broadcast screen, but Bai Jianchun and others got into the tent and slept early after eating. They killed 3 SS-level beasts that day. They were very excited, but they were also really tired and had no energy. Sitting by the fire and talking nonsense. Even Bai Jianchun didn't bother with her camphor vine house anymore. She chose a tent set up by the team members and slept there. The camp gradually became quiet, and a group of people such as Shui Wei and Shen Junhao slowly started to make some noise. 1 or 2 of them looked at the night watchman on the other side of the campfire with dark eyes, and said cautiously, "Brother Yi, we want to don't want." Shui Wei's eyes dimmed in the dark night, and his voice sounded with unknown emotion, "Wait a little longer." As a result, the whispering sound gradually decreased. Shen Junhao also glanced in the direction of the campfire and quickly looked away. After being tortured by Bai Jianchun and Zhu Bao, he could no longer muster his energy and was cowardly. His mission is to be admitted to the first military academy. Bai Jianchun is too strong. He can no longer think of fighting with her now. He is afraid that if the planned sneak attack fails, she will force him to press the help button and escape. Bureau, when he will truly lose the qualification to take the exam, it will be over. So he will never attack her again without being 100% sure of winning. As for Shui Wei, he wanted to win over the Shui family, but this man seemed unwilling to do so and seemed to be plotting something in his heart. Shen Junhao, who was so afraid of being implicated that he almost had his underwear taken out, silently moved to the side, not daring to get too close to him. He was thinking that he might just run away with the team now. But looking at the dark sky and the roar of the ferocious beast in the distance, he was scared again. The examination room was not very safe at night. He had always chosen safe places to camp and rest, but tonight he had no place to find a place, in case he was picked up by a ferocious beast while walking at night. Might as well stay safe here. He thought for a while, but still didn't leave. He just greeted a few team members in a low voice, silently distanced himself from Shui Wei, sat down under a big tree not far away, pulled up his clothes and huddled together to feel comfortable. His eyes closed. Several of his team members have the same personality as him. Although they are arrogant, they are also cowardly. Almost as soon as Shen Junhao greeted them, none of them immediately followed without objection. They won't leave this camp, but they can stay away from Shui Wei. When Shui Wei saw their actions, his face became more and more gloomy and dark in the dark night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 419. As the morning dawned, the light rose, and the scattered sounds gradually grew louder. Shen Junhao opened his eyes and tilted his head comfortably. Although he slept under a tree last night, he slept well. He didn't wake up all night, and his bones were numb from sleep. He stretched his body and stood up slowly. A smile appeared on his face unconsciously, but the corner of his mouth that he just raised froze when he saw the scene in the tree next door. Look at the big green cocoons hanging upside down on the big banyan tree. They are Shui Wei, a man in his 30s. Shui Wei has a nice-looking but extremely dark face. Even though they were upside down, Shen Junhao could still recognize people at a glance. He looked at the other side, and then at his teammates who were sleeping lazily and drooling beside him, and he couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth crazily. Hey, what is he talking about? Shui Wei and his group will suffer disaster sooner or later, and now this is just disaster. Fortunately, he was smart last night and took the team members to move out early, otherwise he would definitely be dragged down by them. After Bai Qianchun washed up, she sat in front of the big pot by the campfire and waited for her meal. Today's breakfast was beef patties with wood milk porridge. The taste was still outstanding. After eating it, Ye Yang praised Qin Xiao for his good cooking skills and recommended Leng Xiao, a friend of his, to him. He hoped that the two of them could communicate more and improve their cooking skills. When the time comes, he can be a taster. As a person with some social fears, Qin Xiao didn't reject Ye Yang's words at all, and her eyes lit up at that time. It was obvious that Ye Yang had the right insertion point, and Qin Xiao's friendliness towards him was add 10 add 10 add 10. After eating, Bai Qianchun's team didn't waste any more time here. After cleaning up the camp, they were ready to set off. At this moment, a notification message from the college suddenly rang. Ding dong, the central area is overrun with SS-level ferocious beasts. Several candidates have sneaked into the central area and have lost contact. Please ask other capable candidates to come to the rescue and do your best. Save one person and you will get add 500 points. Checkpoints add 10,000 for clear reasons for missing contact. Bai Qianchun was stunned. What a huge reward. There's something wrong with this year's entrance exam. How can we make something that hasn't happened before? Quan Lang frowned as he looked at the notification that had just popped up. Sun Xian beside him also nodded when he heard the words, the situation is not right. There are obvious signs in the central area and usually no one goes in. Why did these disconnected candidates get lost after entering? Is it okay? And the military school can just send teachers to rescue him. Let us go. We don't know if those candidates will survive until then. The candidates were suspicious, the viewers on the live broadcast were suspicious, and even the other principals gathered in the principal's office of the First Military Academy were confused by this sudden action. What's going on? Lao Yu, what's going on with you? Not to mention that the points format has been changed this year. Why are you still trying to deceive people? Just now one candidate lost contact. How many are there? And this situation is not very common. Well, the central area is inherently dangerous. There are many ferocious beasts above S level. Going inside is equivalent to death. The double S leopard just knocked people down when they rushed out. There is no need to make a fuss about losing contact. In previous years, it's not impossible, and besides, Suke is still in charge this year, so the candidate should be fine. Yuhai remained calm, with a smile on his lips, and slowly drank tea. What else could it be? There are too many S-level and above ferocious beasts in there, lest they live too leisurely and cause disaster. I just want to let them. Candidates are just helping to kill more. Besides, some legions have said before that the unity of the soldiers is too poor. This is just to cultivate the unity of the candidates. Why are you worrying so much? Is that so? The other principals obviously didn't believe it, but after staring at Yuhai's face for a long time, they couldn't see any flaws in him. They could only curse old fox in their hearts, and then continued to watch the live broadcast. They wanted to look what this old fox is up to. Captain, what should we do? Do you want to go over and have a look? Zhu Bao asked with bright eyes around Bai Qianshun, with a bit of eagerness in his eyes. It was obvious that the two SS-level giant rhinos yesterday gave him courage, and he also wanted to explore the true strength of this team, or Bai Qianshun as the captain. Bai Qianshun glanced at him and said thoughtfully, then go and take a look. Since the academy has issued a task, it must have profound meaning, and the reward points are quite high. If they find out the reason, they can get 10,000 points, which they can earn by killing several SS-level ferocious beasts. Furthermore, she has already joined Yang. The strength of the entire team can be said to have been improved by more than one step. The central area is the hunting ground she will target next. Only high risks can lead to high returns. Now that Bai Qianshun has spoken, the team members naturally have no objections. Although they are a little uneasy about entering the central area, they can't hide their excitement. The spirit of adventure exists deep in the hearts of these good-blooded men. And chaste. The team members quickly got on the speeding car. On the roof of the speeding car was sitting the number 3 people, with the number 2 people hanging below, and they flew towards the central area. Shen Junhao watched their strange flying car fly away, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he didn't remember them. The team members around him who dared not express their anger also breathed a sigh of relief, then tugged on Shen Junhao's clothes and pointed in the direction of Shui Wei's group of green cocoons. Brother Shen, what should we do with those people? Shen Junhao also took a look, and he felt uncomfortable after he had just calmed down. Logically speaking, everyone is a competitor, and Shui Wei and his team members are a group of strong competitors. He should let them go. The right thing to do is to eliminate them altogether, or to add insult to injury, but Shui Wei is from the Shui family. Shen Junhao was depressed, but he still walked towards the direction of the green cocoon with a smile on his face. What else can we do? Of course it is to save people. We were comrades before. How can we abandon our comrades at this time? Hurry, get Master Shui. They put it down. Each examination room in the rainforest is actually divided around the central area. The entire examination room is described as a round cake, that is, the central circular area in the central area is circled, and then the remaining cake is cut into fan shapes with a knife. Each examination room. However, the examination room numbers are not divided one after another, but the order of the examination rooms is disrupted. For example, the room next to examination room 1 where Bai Qianshun is located is not examination room 2 or examination room 20, the last examination room where the kite bites its tail, but examination room 8 and examination room 10. However, every examination room has the same characteristic. If you go deeper, you can reach the center of the rainforest. I became the richest man in the world by making meatballs. Author, Lanshan Luzi. Chapter 420. Although the speeding car was bearing more weight than it could bear, it still diligently sent several people to the edge of the central area. Roar! A powerful whistling sound came, and several giant birds were hovering in the air ahead. The birds looked sharply in the direction of the speeding car. It seemed that as soon as they entered their territory, they would launch an attack. Quan Lang swallowed his saliva. The central area is ahead. There are many SS-level ferocious beasts visible to the naked eye. We can't break through from the air, so why don't we go down and walk? Yeah, his proposal was quickly approved, and the speeding car stopped at the edge of the central area. Bai Qianchun took out the electronic radar after putting away the speed car. If you want to save the candidates in the central area, this is a guiding light. Just follow the little red dot in the central area to find it. Ya Yang curiously turned his head and took a look. Hey, there's just a little red dot inside. Did all the other candidates fail? Bai Qianchun frowned and glanced in the direction of the central area. I don't know. Let's find this person first. Good. The team members had no objections and followed the instructions carefully. Then they took the powder from Bai Qianchun and applied it on their bodies. They asked curiously, what kind of powder is this and what does it do? Bai Qianchun, the powder that eliminates the smell on your body. As long as we are careful not to be seen by those ferocious beasts, they will not be able to smell our scent and come here. Zhu Bao's eyes sparkled. Awesome, Captain, where did you get this medicinal powder? Why haven't I heard of it before? If you have this thing, you can enter the adventurous wasteland where many ferocious beasts are stationed. Bai Qianchun replied calmly, I made it on the road a few days ago. As for the formula, it is a new drug that was just developed by Mu Yuanxing and has not yet been launched. Zhu Bao looked envious. The new drug, as long as it goes on the market, Mu Yuanxing can make a lot of money again. It's easier to make money than his brother Liang Chen. The other team members also praised their captain for his foresight and foresight. He had been preparing this kind of medicine powder for a long time. Did he expect that their team would come to the central area? Lemon tea, that's for sure. Our white goddess is unrivaled in intelligence and precise command. She always knows how to take one step at a time. She must have been ready to come to the central area. Brother Bao, I am very good at it. No wonder Goddess Bai used to hold a small pot to cook something on the road. It turns out she was making this good medicine. The swamp flower antidote has never been used before, but this medicine was not in vain. Xing Xing Dian Deng, the central area of the examination room. No examinee has ever been able to go deep into the examination room before. At most, they only wandered around the edges. I have a hunch that Bai Qianchun's team may be the first to go deep into the central area. Team at the place. There is a snow-white room in the center of the examination room, and the lights are so bright that it is blindingly bright. A man in a white coat suddenly stood up and said in a panic, "Oh no, a team of candidates is coming in." Next to him, a man in a white coat who looked very senior at first glance turned around with a fat face and gave him a disgusted look. "Don't make such a fuss. There are so many ferocious beasts above S level in the central area. How could those useless candidates enter? Come on, young man, you are not calm at all, you only know how to be startled." The young man in white coat glared at him angrily. "This team is different. They are coated with odor-eliminating powder. Now they have passed through the perimeter and are coming towards our laboratory. No, I have to tell Lin sir, the test subject we just captured cannot be kept. He has a signal that can be detected by the electronic radar of the candidate team." The expression of the senior white coat also changed. He interrupted the young white coat fiercely. "No, the test subject was awake for a period of time when he was captured. He already knew our existence. He can't hand it over unless he is a human being dead." At this time, an old man with gray hair on his temples and a gloomy aura walked in. The young man in white coat and the senior man in white coat quickly bowed and said, "Hello, Mr. Lin." The old man glanced at them with sinister eyes. "He cannot be handed over, nor can he die. He has an energy similar to supernatural powers that is worthy of study. You first keep an eye on the team that comes in. I will have people take the experimental subjects, enable signal shielding in the room. The two men in white coats nodded and flattered, smiling and flattering. "Mr. Lin, you are so considerate." "Yes, yes, Mr. Lin's best approach is to think more carefully than idiots like us." The old man snorted arrogantly at them. "Just know that you are a fool, and use your brain more in the future." "Yes, yes." The two of them bowed their heads and respectfully sent the person away before wiping their sweat. The senior man in the white coat sat back in the chair again and continued to play the game he had just played. He took the time to look at the young man and said with a greasy smile, "Did you hear what Mr. Lin said? Keep a close eye on it. That team, after this incident is over, you can still go to Mr. Lin to show your merits, and I, as a senior, will not compete with you." The young man in the white coat clenched his fists in his hands, and a fierce look flashed in his eyes. Sooner or later, he would kill this fat man and enter the upper level of the laboratory. In the densely shaded forest in the central area, Bai Qian and the others once again narrowly escaped a group of SS-level foursomes, hiding behind a huge tree and panting. Exciting, really exciting. Since entering the central area, they encountered a total of 18 waves of SS-level ferocious beasts, including groups of ferocious beasts and some lone ferocious beasts. However, they never dared to confront them head-on, and could only adopt evasive mode, because as long as they did it, whether they win or the ferocious beast wins, it will cause a lot of noise. When the time comes to attract onlookers to pick up the other ferocious beasts, Bai Qian and the others will be unable to fly, so they have spent all their efforts along the way avoiding in fear. But without exception, the eyes of the team members, including Qin Xiao, were shining brightly. Apparently, the previous thrills did not bring haste to them, but instead aroused their excitement. Bai Qian, who was holding the electronic radar, suddenly exclaimed softly. The team members who were alert all around immediately came over and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong, Captain? The red dot in the electronic radar is gone. Is there no signal here?" The next second, the audience who were also silent in the excitement in front of the live broadcast room suddenly saw that the screen went black. "Si Minjiao, what the hell is going on? The screen is black, it's time to see something wonderful." "Foodie Soul, the last thing I heard from Goddess Bai was that the signal was lost. Is there something blocking the signal in the central area? The previous candidate may have lost contact in this way." Xing Dian Deng, but that's not right. The candidate was only on the periphery before and lost contact. He did not go to the central area like Goddess Bai and others. Si Minjiao, the military academy should come out and explain. Didn't it say that the live broadcast covers the entire examination room? The central area is also an examination room now. Why is there no signal?